So I watched the latest episode of JJK where Maki annihilates her clan, and I thought it was dope. I loved it. But I then made the mistake of opening Twitter and saw that somehow this episode has sparked a ridiculous amount of controversy. Apparently, Western viewers absolutely loved the episode and Japanese viewers absolutely hated it. Now, to anyone with an IQ above room temperature, this claim sounds like a completely wild and baseless generalization. Because it is. From what I have seen, personally, the idea that Japan disliked the episode mainly stems from this one post from a Japanese Twitter account, in which this person... Wait, this post hasn't even got anything to do with the episode quality at all. They basically just complain about the fact global audiences outside of Japan liked the episode. Well, anyway, this post blew up and got over 40k likes, with lots of people supporting it and lots of people calling it batshit crazy. And keep in mind that this person added to their point by claiming something coexisting with foreigners is impossible, which is ironic because the JJK sequel manga is literally a story about striving for coexistence. But it also just makes you question if this is straight rage bait, because how are you coming to that absolutely wild conclusion based on an IMDb rating for an episode? And since seeing this post, I've seen a lot of people claiming Japan didn't like the way the episode was adapted, which then added fuel to the fire of an already heated conversation about how anime should be purely catered to what the Japanese viewers want and not what the global audience wants. Which is a more complex issue and not really the focus of this video, to be honest. Now, when I actually tried to research and find literally any source or basis for such a generalized claim that Japanese viewers didn't like it and Western viewers did like it, all I could find was posts and articles from anime news accounts that are known for engagement farming, saying how the episode was getting backlash from Japanese viewers. Japanese viewers. That wording implies that it's the majority, right? Like, I'm not crazy for thinking that. But guess what these posts and articles use as their source? Oh my god, wow, it's literally a direct f***ing quote copy and pasted from that one person's post with 40-something-k likes. Do you have any clue how many f***ing people watch Jujutsu Kaisen? Because it's a shitload more than 40,000. Why is this what we're basing such a drastically generalized claim on? The original poster and the replies who agree with the post also did make some wild and massively ignorant generalizations too, because how are you basing this dumb claim off an IMDb rating with 11,000 votes? How can anyone think 11k people spread across the globe represent the entire global audience of Jujutsu Kaisen? Now sure, there are a lot of replies and other posts besides this one where Japanese viewers do express a dislike for this episode or think that, the global audience were overrating it. But again, why are we making such generalized claims of a handful of fucking Twitter users of all people? Like, come on. In reality, there isn't as much of a separation between the Japanese and global response to this episode as Twitter is making it out to be. There are lots of Japanese people who loved the episode, and there are lots of non-Japanese people who didn't like the episode, or thought that it was just okay. Trust me, I know, the proof is in the comment section of my review video. Now, obviously, no matter where you're from, you are entitled to an opinion, and if you didn't like it, then that is totally fine. However, ratings from websites like IMDb, or I don't know, any Japanese equivalents, as well as YouTube comments and opinions expressed on terrible ragebait apps like Twitter, are just a tiny piece of the puzzle. The real issue is the generalization. It is not and never will be as simple as Japan thinks this, the West thinks that. These people online live in their own little bubbles where their understanding of what goes on around them is built from their algorithm and own biases, which is understandable but still naive. My point is, at the end of the day, everyone should just stop generalizing. It helps literally nobody. And keeping that in mind, let's move on to actually look at some problems that people had with the episode itself. In the original post, this person claims that amazing animation and insane aura are all the global audience actually cares for. Now, first of all, I don't understand what could possibly be so bad about enjoying and appreciating the animation that real, living people poured their heart and soul into creating. I don't understand the logic behind that being a problem. This post was not the only one though. There are lots of other replies and posts I've seen claiming that animation and aura is all the Western viewers care about because they haven't taken the time to appreciate the source material. There are people complaining that Mappa did things like extend the fights, cram it all into one episode, and just that they generally didn't adapt the manga as a complete one-to-one as it apparently should be. Now, what I found hilarious about this sentiment is that a lot of people claiming the anime didn't adapt the episode as it was intended seem to have not actually read the manga or have any actual understanding of it. For example, this same account claims that foreigners only focus on animation and don't care when the anime does things like make unnecessary changes from the manga, which does like strongly imply that this person reads the manga and wants the anime to be a more accurate one-to-one adaptation, right? Like, I think that's what they're saying, is they don't want unnecessary changes made from the source material, which implies that they don't want unnecessary changes made from the source material. I don't know, it's pretty cut and dry. But then this same person's problem with the actual episode itself is about how they crammed it all into one episode, how the Zenin family's core feels completely hollow, and how not enough screen time or depth was given to characters like Junichi, Ranta, or Ogi. And to be honest, I don't necessarily disagree with this take, but motherfucker, that's literally how it is in the manga that you claim we aren't reading. The episode literally is a one-to-one adaptation, with the only actual, anime-only changes being fight extensions and a single bloody panel of Toji. The actual depth given to the characters and the dialogue is the exact same as the source material. All Mappa does is add to things to make them look cooler and flow better as an episode, which they mostly just do for fights anyway. I mean, this here is like literally the only page Junichi gets where he does anything significant in the entire manga ever. It's one page. How are you saying that you want this to be, adapted one-to-one, but then also saying you don't like that it's not enough? In the manga, it's like 4.5 chapters of mostly fighting. Anything more than a single episode would have been way too slow, and they would have had to add way more anime-only extensions to make it work. So like, can you make your mind up? Do you want them to adapt it one-to-one or not? Like, you seem to be saying you don't like anime-only extensions, and then saying that the anime needed to go into more depth on things? I don't understand. And now the final nail in the coffin for me that made me realize a lot of these absolute droids don't actually read the manga was when the same account complained that 1 minute Maki's mum is harsh on her, and then by the end of the episode she switches up saying that she was glad she gave birth to Maki. Dude, this has nothing to do with the anime. Again, this is just what happens in the manga. Maki's mum screams at her to come back because she doesn't actually want Maki to die, but when Maki finally liberates herself and her mum from the oppression of the clan, she expresses gratitude and relief. It's got literally nothing to do with how Mappa adapted it, it's to do with how Gege wrote it in the source material. The very same source material that you're claiming this adaptation is not loyal to. I don't know. I guess the overall point here is that no matter where you're from in the world, there is just one constant within the JJK fandom. JJK fans universally cannot fucking read. And then there is this whole idea about how anime should cater, purely to Japan and not concern itself with the global audience's preferences, which is a very complex conversation far removed from Jujutsu Kaisen that I don't really want to weigh in on because I can absolutely see both sides of the argument. The problem with people applying this to the current JJK adaptation though is that I don't understand what about this anime specifically makes anyone think it's going out of its way to cater to the Western preferences. Even though there are many people who just like the hype moments and aura, I've already shown how anyone from anywhere is capable of appreciating JJK's writing and the source material without only caring for insane aura and animation like these posts are claiming. So I'm not going to dwell on that too much. But are we really going to sit here and pretend like the actual source material itself doesn't have the insane aura moments that Mappa brings to life? Like, go actually read the manga written by the Japanese mangaka Gege Akutami and tell me that all these hype moments and aura are purely a result of Mappa catering to Western preferences. When I read complaints about Sakuga animation and fight extensions, all it does is make me think that these people genuinely do want to watch an exact one-to-one slideshow of the manga. If that is what you want, then fine, I can respect that even though I don't understand it. But what bothers me, right, is when, I see people act as if individual anime and manga belong to the people. Whether they be Japanese or not is irrelevant. It does not belong to you. They belong to the fucking creators. No one other than the actual people who make the series should really have a say in how it's adapted. Let's use this post as an example, complaining that Season 3 director Goshizono is forcing his style down viewers' throats. Goshizono and a lot of the staff working on JJK genuinely love making this series, and I think they are proud of what they create. They should have the creative freedom necessary to create work that they are proud of, and I believe that they do. No part of me thinks that they want to make a one-to-one adaptation with no fight extensions or advanced animation, and that the only reason they do that is because the production committees hold guns to their heads and force them to for the sake of satisfying global audiences. Do you understand how ridiculous that sounds? Let's look at the recent partnership announcement between MAPPA and Netflix, for example. Everyone has cherry-picked this one line about understanding global audiences, and jumped to the wild assumption that all the anime they make from now on are just going to revolve around aura farming. But I conveniently haven't seen anybody mentioning that at the beginning of the article there is literally a bit that reads, "Valuing creators' freedom and passion while innovating both creatively and strategically." So yeah, the debate about whether anime as a whole should cater solely to Japanese viewers is just way too broad to generalize to JJK specifically, because JJK is a series that literally has a strong focus on aura and fights, as well as good writing, in the source material, completely separate from the anime. All the animators do is bring that to life with their own creative vision. Like, who the fuck are you to demand that the people who dedicate themselves to making it do it purely to satisfy your individual preferences? At that point, just go and learn to animate and make it yourself. And let's not even mention the fact that Gege Akutami, the literal author of the source material, comments non-stop about how he loves the anime, how it's directed, and how it improves on the manga. He even praises Goshizono by name. The creator of the source material is literally out here glazing the things that these nerds online call abominations because they don't adapt the manga as intended. Who the fuck are you to decide what was intended? If the author likes it so much that he goes out of his way to actively reference MAPPA's works in his fights later on, then I'd say they did a pretty good job. And if you want proof of that, here's Todo and Yuji in the finale recreating the anime-only scene from Shibuya, and now Dabura vs Maharaga in Modulo is literally one giant reference to Sukuna vs Maharaga in the anime, which was another fight that sparked a controversy similar to this one with Maki vs Zenin. But oh, look at that, Gege Akutami loved it. Wow, are you gonna sit there and tell me it wasn't adapted as intended? Okay, I think I've ranted for long enough though now, so the takeaways from this video should be: A, everyone should just make an effort to stop generalizing, it just hurts everybody. B, everyone is entitled to their own opinion on the series, but that doesn't mean you're entitled to dictate other people's opinions. Even this video from me is just me expressing my view on it, albeit very passionately, to be fair. C, acting as if you have a right to demand JJK to be adapted how you want it to be, even when the creators are already proud of what they have made, is unbelievably self-centered behavior. And finally, D, JJK fans universally just cannot read the story. And like I said, please do not harass any of the accounts shown in this video. I've used them as examples, they're not the only ones. Sure, they might have some dumb takes and be slightly naive to certain things, but that doesn't give you any right to go and harass them. So yeah, thanks for watching, I guess, and I'll see you in a bit.